Health Matters with Paul Rosen.
There is hope out there.
And you're doing better.
I'm telling people there's an exact plan for you.
Wow.
And it was, I just could not believe it.
With your host, Paul Rosen.
Well, here's bad news. If you want to wash your face or your dishes or your clothes, you may be doing your body harm. Is that about right, Paul Rosen? Do I have that correct?
That is about right, yes.
So, chemicals, they are in our detergents, our soaps, and many other household products. Why are they bad?
Chemicals do a body harm. You'd be amazed how many chemicals you expose yourself to every single day. What are the most common ones? And how can you eliminate as many as possible? What are the alternatives? Because there's a good chance your migraines, allergies, eczema, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, etc., are due to their presence.
How is that? Now, maybe you could have one or more of those conditions present already. Could these chemicals make those worse, or are they necessarily the cause?
Both.
All of the above.
In Europe, more than 13,000 chemicals are banned from use in lotions, soaps, toothpaste, cosmetics, and other personal care products. This is where we're going to focus today.
And why is Europe on top of that and maybe we're not? That's a good question, huh? I already know the answer
is
to
really
that.
simple.
Right.
It's
the
money.
Answer, is money.
Yeah, it's always about the money. And you know, we are, quote unquote, free enterprise. And some European countries are socialistic or run certainly differently than ours. But we pay the price for that. We believe that government should have very little intervention in our lives. And as a result of that, we're subject to the corporate system. And I'm not against corporations, and I'm not against making money. Don't go there. But I am against the marketing of products which are known, and also known by the corporations that are marketing them, to be unhealthy. And then turn around and be driven to the pharmaceutical companies to handle the symptoms.
But can we say that these companies have these chemicals in these products, soap, for example, not because they want to give us eczema? You know, these are unintended consequences, I assume. They put the chemical in there for coloring or as a preservative, and because they didn't intend it to happen, but
50 years ago, 60 years ago, 70 years ago, maybe. Not anymore.
Really?
Well, the studies are out there. We've had enough time to live with these, right? Furthermore, you people coming to see practitioners like myself with chronic symptoms of every stripe and nature, no matter what. And then how does a person like myself or somebody else help the patient resolve their issues?
Well, but
get rid of the sources of these chemicals for a start.
But by that, I think you mean we have these companies with these products or these chemicals in their products over the course of many decades. Why haven't we addressed it by now? That's the question, right? That's the question I'm asking. I mean, if these things are dangerous, why are we still allowing them in these many household products?
Oh, I think you can look to smoking tobacco and alcohol and, all kinds of other products that are still sold, but, with skull and crossbones on them. I mean,
right. And the restrictions on tobacco in particular have become very.
But people buy it and people use them, and
sure
you get the choice. The key is letting people know. The key is awareness. Okay, great. We live in a free-for-all culture. No problem. But wake up. Wake up. You're doing it to yourself, people.
Well, fair enough, and I'm not against.
We are doing it to ourselves.
We can do that, but we can also make the choice to do something else.
13,000 exactly. 13,000 chemicals are banned from use in lotions, soaps, toothpaste, cosmetics, deodorants, and the list goes on. Contrast that in the United States, where just 11 are banned.
11 compared to 13,000? Mm-hmm. That's a little bit out of balance, don't you think?
Adding that to the fact that in the U.S., the FDA leaves it to the companies to identify and handle, the companies that market the cosmetics and personal hygiene items, leaves it to them to identify the harmful nature of their product.
They're supposed to be self-regulating. Well, that always works out.
Oh, yeah,
not a problem there.
And I've got a piece of the Astoria Bridge I'd like to sell you.
Sure. But again, I go back to the point. I think they're using chemicals, again, as preservatives or for coloring or whatever it happens to be, to make their products, for example, more pleasant. If you have a certain shampoo, maybe you want it to smell like lilacs, so your users will find that more pleasant. As an unintended consequence, does that process create, a chemical reaction in your body?
Are you familiar with the Venus flytrap?
Yes, I am.
You know what
the plant
it is?
That eats
live insects that are attracted by what?
I don't know. Is there a scent?
A pleasant fragrance.
Okay. So our products are more or less pulling us into a trap, you're saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And of course, that we want them to, quote unquote, last longer. How do you do that? More chemicals. More chemicals. Right?
Well,
so if you
enough.
put on your cologne and you go, oh gosh, that wore off in 3 hours. We want one that lasts 6 hours or 10 hours. Chemists are all too ready to oblige.
So they have to add more chemicals, make it more powerful to last longer. Use that example.
That's why when a patient comes to see me who's got migraines, for example, and we trace it to, first of all, you can't have a history of migraines without having thyroid problems. That's right. Even if your blood tests show your thyroid is normal. It's your thyroid. End of story. And perfumes and fragrances, in fact, chemicals of all stripes, adversely impact the thyroid, often first. And when you're using these colognes, perfumes, and fragrances that are not natural in any respect, even if they say they come from natural sources, right? Because, of course, we've been over this before. The word natural doesn't mean anything, right? So, and those perfumes and fragrances will be one of the greatest sources, one of the most common sources of triggering a migraine. And then you have these perfumes and fragrances and soaps and lotions that contain chemistry which will cause the permeation of that fragrance to last for longer periods of time. Right? Your clothes are saturated with it. There's no getting away from it. Your sheets, your pillowcases, saturated with it.
That's because
your furniture,
sure,
your carpet,
everything around you is like
saturated with it.
It's like mustard gas,
and you're
gets
doing
everywhere.
it to yourself. You're causing your own suffering.
Well, but we don't necessarily know. I know that's why we're.
Well, that's why we're doing the show,
right?
Because you wouldn't know. Because that's what I find in my clinic. That's how I help migraine sufferers and hot flash sufferers.
I did three loads of laundry yesterday using a name brand detergent. So I probably did to myself exactly what you were describing. Is that right?
That stink that you smell when someone's doing the laundry, like you're walking down the street, that stink that you smell, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
It comes from that detergent. Is that
it comes
what you were
from
saying?
that. Well, the detergent and the dryer sheets.
Yeah, I did that. I tossed everything in the dryer too.
Yeah.
So I'm
that
guilty
stink
of that.
you smell is basically just chipping away.
But that's kind of analogous, to use a $12 word, to the perfume, because they have detergents now, laundry detergents, that will say contains fresh spring smell. In other words, you can smell like a forest as opposed to toxic sludge, if you want to. And in fact, the detergent I use, I won't name the brand, but it actually has that. It has fresh mountain air scent or something like that on the label. So they're trying to tell us that if you use this detergent, not only will your clothes get clean, they'll smell nice also. That's what they're telling me.
No, hey.
And when I pull them out of the dryer, they.
That's what the guy says on the corner. Got a little something for you. It'll give you a vacation from, whatever. I promise, like the Universal Studios. You'll go on a. It's the same thing.
Well, but again,
they're drug pushers.
You're right.
They're chemical
here's
pushers.
Here's the point I'm getting to. In order to get that fresh spring scent or whatever it is in that detergent, they're adding more chemicals, and those chemicals likely will be harmful.
Almost certainly. Now, obviously, you don't know that they're harmful because they don't punch you in the gut. It's not an uppercut to the jaw the instant that you get exposed to them, but they chip away exposure after exposure. And again, the reason I know this is because that's how I help people restore their health. If you are suffering from a chronic symptom, eczema, psoriatic arthritis, migraines, diabetes, acid reflux. Anyway, the list goes on and on. And you understand that the medications you're taking have side effects. Most likely, one of those side effects is the same symptom you're trying to treat with the medication. Just look at the box, right? And you want to get out of that trap. What you need is a personalized nutritional healing program designed specifically for you that will enable you to begin the process of digging your way back to whole health.